Good morning, students. In today's video, we are going to cover uh, views on isostasy. Sorry, views on isostasy. And this particular theory is by Vening-Meinesz or flexural isostasy. So proposed by F.A. Vening-Meinesz, a Dutch geophysicist based on gravity studies over deep sea trenches. So this particular theory is proposed by F.A. Vening-Meinesz, and he is a Dutch geophysicist. And what he does is studies he does the gravity studies over the deep sea structures. Means he see the gravity over the deep sea structures. So what are deep sea trenches? So basically they are like the subduction zones between the two convergence plates, and they are deep. Okay, so when the two plates when they meet, subduction occurs, depression is formed there, and it's very deep. So deep sea trenches are those. And he measured gravity anomalies at sea using pendulums inside submerged submarines. So he measured the gravity anomalies, means the variation in the gravity inside the sea with the help of pendulums. So we all know the pendulums, these are like bobs, you know, with these pendulums. And what he does is takes his submarine. Inside it, there is this suspended pendulum, okay, to study the gravity variations inside the sea. His theory is based on the rheological strength flow behavior of rocks. So his studies were based on the rheological behavior of rocks, meaning the uh, how rocks behave under pressure. Okay, so he just studies that how the rocks behave under pressure. What he sees that cold rocks are strong and can support loads for millions of years without deforming, and hot rocks are weak and slowly flow over geological time. So he observed that the cold rocks, the rocks that are cold, they are very strong. Okay, and they can support lots for millions of years. Means they can endure lots of weight, okay, for millions of years and without deforming, without change in any like the shape in the crust, or we can say in the land, without change in any uh, shape of the land. It can endure lots of weight. Okay, and the hot rocks are weak and slowly flow over geological time. So hot rocks are weak and they slowly flow over geological time. That means they slowly turn into liquid structure uh, over the over years. Okay, gradually the weak rocks, hot weak rocks, convert into the fluid form. Earth has a cold, strong outer elastic layer and a hot, weak underlying layer that can flow. So he said that the Earth, how the Earth is formed, it has the strong outer elastic layer, means the outer layer. We can say the layer that we can see. It is strong. It is elastic, and the inner layer, inside this strong outer elastic layer, we have hot, weak underlying layer. that can flow, means that is in the liquid form. The weak layer is solid for short-term loads, but flows under long-term loads. So this weak layer, underlying weak layer, is it's solid, okay, solid but weak for like short-term loads, okay, like the earthquake and stuff. But it flows, means it converts into the liquid form over long time. In this model, surface loads, ice sheets, mountains, sediments are supported by a bending flexure of the elastic layer. So in this model, the surface loads like these ice sheets, mountains, sediments, these are supported by the bending flexure of the elastic layer. So means how these ice sheets, mountains, sediments are supported. They are basically supported by the bending of this outer strong elastic layer. So the elastic layer thickness ranges from 10 to 100 kilometer. So from 10 to 100 kilometer, this elastic layer thickness ranges. This bending behavior is similar to the engineering beam bending. So, this bending basically they studied this bending behavior with the help of engineering beam bending. Like in civil engineering, they studied about this bending. Okay, so that same that kind of engineering they use it for the bending of the Earth's surface. I hope this is clear. Um, Mass of vertical columns is not equal everywhere, unlike area or Pratt models. So the mass of vertical columns is not equal everywhere. Where the elastic layer is thin, deformation is large and localized. So where the elastic layer, the most strong elastic layer is thin, deformation is large. That means the outer layer can bend easily and it's localized. Means this bend elasticity property is very focused. Okay, it is not like it happen at like every single piece of the land. No, it happens with a very small piece of land and it's very localized, focused. Where the elastic layer is thick, deformation is small but spread over a wide area. So where this elastic layer is strong, outer elastic layer is thick, their deformation is small, means it's a common sense, and it's spread over wide area, means that the deformation that occurs, very small deformation occurs, but it's spread over wide area. So the bending is localized, but this small deformation is very wide. In oceans, elastic thickness increases with plate age. So he says that in oceans, the elastic thickness increases with the plate age as the layers inside the surface under oceans uh, ages. Uh, the thickness, the elasticity increases. The base of the elastic plate corresponds roughly to the 450 degrees Celsius isotherm of the lithosphere base. So this elasticity property is not uh, applicable to whole lithosphere layer. Rather, it happens on a very small part of the lithosphere. On continents, the pattern is complex due to different rock types and layering. So on continents, the pattern is very complex because of the different rock types and the layering. The temperature is the main control of the elastic thickness which can change over time. So the temperature is the main control of the elastic thickness, means the change we can see the in the elastic thickness. It depends on the temperature and it can change over time. As the temperature changes, elasticity also changes accordingly. Flexural isostasy explains both local and regional isostatic adjustment. It is observed around ice sheets, deltas, and these loads can be external and internal. So nothing more important. I hope you get the main idea related to this theory that like the hot rocks and the cold rocks and the layers, the weak layer and the underlying fluid layer. It is similar to like saying that we have the lithosphere, which is solid, which is elastic, which is strong, and beneath that we have this another layer, asthenosphere you can call, which is fluid-like and yeah, means you can think of it like this. Isostasy versus no isostasy. So this is the last topic of this particular chapter of concepts of isostasy. Okay, this is the last topic, and then after this we will move on to the new chapter. So early studies of Earth's interior suggested that Earth is largely solid, not fluid. So earlier studies happen in that it is it has been found that the Earth's interior is solid and not fluid at all. If Earth were completely solid in everyday sense, rock could not flow and isostatic adjustment would be impossible. So, but there's there's a big but here that if the earth is completely solid, so this whole chapter we can throw it in garbage. Okay, because the isostasy concepts that we have studied, they're all based around that the inside layer is fluid, and on that we have this lithosphere or this crust which is flowing. That's what isostasy say. So that's why it's not possible to say that Earth is completely solid. Ocean tide studies show that Earth does not behave like a fluid body. So ocean tides, the tides that arise in the oceans shows that the Earth does not behave like a fluid body. Yes, so ocean tides that arises in the oceans, means tides that arises in the oceans, show that the Earth is not in does not behave like a fluid body. You go, you know, if Earth were fluid, land and ocean would move together. So it's like totally illogical to say that Earth is fully fluid because otherwise land and ocean would move together and we are not able to see tides anymore. Okay. So seismological evidence show that the shear as waves travel through most of the Earth. So, but we know that S waves cannot pass through liquids. So this proves that most of the Earth's interior is solid except the outer core. These observations supported the idea of mainly solid Earth, contradicting classical fluid-based isostasy. So what happens is, firstly, they say that Earth is fully solid. Okay, but it's not possible because we have this isostatic adjustment and things like that. So they said that Earth is fully fluid, but that's not possible because we can see the tides in the oceans, and that is not possible if the Earth is not solid. Okay, And uh, after that, they run a test in which as waves are passed through the Earth's internal structure, and as waves passed mostly through the Earth's internal structure. They, but we know that as waves cannot pass through liquids. So, because of this particular test, we have made conclusion that Earth is mostly solid, but this very small part, and it's present inside the core. That small part is liquid. Otherwise, Earth is fully solid. But this contradicts the isostatic classical fluid-based isostasy because isostasy uh, cannot occur if the liquid part is inside the core only. Okay, Arien-Pratt models assumed local isostasy where each vertical rock column adjusts independently. So Arien-Pratt models they assume that we have the local isostasy where each vertical rock columns adjust independently. Local isostasy means happening in the short area. Okay, implies no shear strength between adjacent rock columns. So, if this local isostasy occurs, it does not imply the shear strength. So, what does the shear strength means? The resistance of rock or soil to deform or sliding under sideways stress. That means if you put stress on the rocks, so their ability to resist to the deformation is what is called the shear strength. So if the local isostasy happens, means isostasy is happening in every vertical rock column. So it will it implies that there will be no shear strength because isostasy happens in if you have the liquid structure, okay, and if that happens locally at each and every vertical rock column, it will not imply the shear strength because you know how will rock resist its deformation if it's in the fluid form. However, the Earth's surface shows steep slopes and high mountains, proving rocks do possess long-term shear strength. So, like, but Earth's surface we see that they have steep slopes, they have high mountains. So that means uh, they do possess the long-term shear strength, means their ability to resist to deformation. Okay, so means mountains. If the like if inside the surface it is all fluid, things like that, it will not lead to the formation of the slopes and the high mountains. If it's fluid, means it's not possible. So that's why it has been discovered that these rocks have shear strength, long-term shear strength. If rocks had no shear strength, mountains would flatten or flow away, which generally does not happen. So, of course, I have just explained you what does the shear strength means. If rocks doesn't contain that, what happens? They will flow away or they will flatten. This creates a contradiction between theoretical isostasy and observed topography. Okay, so basically what happens here is that uh, this isostasy model cl- means forces us to think that the Earth's internal is very fluid-like, and the rocks didn't contain shear strength at all. But in contradiction, we have found that Earth's surface have these mountains, these slopes, and things like that, which clearly implies that the rocks contain shear strength. So here, this isostasy concept contradicts with the observed topography. That means the mountains and those things that contain shear strength to the isostasy, which is saying that everything is fluid-like and the rocks didn't contain the shear strength. Okay, rocks behave as elastic solids for short-term stresses. So the rocks behave as elastic solids for only short term. Over long geological time, rocks behave as viscous or plastic materials and can flow slowly. Okay, thus the earth is solid in the short but deformable in the long term. Isostatic equilibrium is therefore achieved slowly and not instantly. Flexural isostasy resolves the issue by allowing regional support through bending, not free local movement. So basically, in their theory, they resolve the issue by saying that regional support uh, means basically uh, the layer bends and it doesn't flows. It bends, doesn't flows. This local accept this model accepts shear strength of rocks while still permitting long-term adjustment. So because of their model, yes, like because of this model, we accept that the shear strength of the rocks they have the shear strength. At the same time, they are open to adjustment also, but over long term. Processes like post-glacial rebounding demonstrate slow isostatic adjustment despite Earth's solidity. Okay, so these are some conclusions that we have made from all of the things that we have studied so far. That the Earth is neither perfectly rigid nor perfectly fluid. Okay, so yes, because uh, isostasy, if you said that it is perfectly rigid, so the whole concept of isostasy will go away. Okay, and but if you say it's completely fluid, it will, means then like how are the mountains are forming and like we can see the tides in the oceans. So these type of some things that says that the earth is solid, but isostasy, these type of concepts that earth has some fluid uh, region in it as well. Isostasy operates over geological timescales where short-term behavior remains solid. So this isostasy, the point here to note is that it is not a like a days or like months process. Isostasy process take years for the crust to adjust itself. Okay, so over long term, Earth's surface is adjustable, but at the short term, it remains solid. Modern isostasy combines elastic strength, temperature control, flow, and time-dependent deformation. So these all things are believed in the modern isostasy. Okay, so I hope this chapter is clear to you all. We have covered four chapters till now. Okay, we have studied like the origin of Earth, of the solar system. We go from the space. Then we studied about the Earth, the living planet that we have. Then we have studied about the Earth's interior. We go from the space to the Earth's interior. See, that way you can able to connect. If you are able to connect chapters well, then the learning part becomes easy. And then we studied the Earth's structure. Okay, through isostasy, like how crust is this way. Okay, not how what the crust is made up of. but how the crest is this way, how the land appears to be solid, but still we see little movement as well. Okay, so these type of things are clear through this chapter, isostasy. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.